Good evening. How are you? Calm down. My name is Brian Parkinson, and I teach history here at GSW, if you don't know me. If you don't, you should. And I'm here to introduce three students, lovely students who went with me to Spain for 2 months. Was it 2 months, 6 weeks?
Felt like it, yeah.
Felt like it. You hear that? This summer, we spent most of our time in Madrid, and it was an amazing experience, and I highly encourage any of you who are thinking about doing study abroad to please do study abroad, because what it does is it changes the way you think. It makes you think that, hey, things can be done in a different way that they're done back home, and that's okay. So it gives you a kind of flexibility in thinking that you didn't really have before. Traveling anywhere kind of does that. So I would like to introduce Connie, Jaden, and Jessica, three awesome students, 2 business majors and 1 history major, and I will leave the floor to them. All right, welcome to Windows to the World, study abroad in Europe.
I'm Jessica, that's Connie, this is Jaden, in case y'all didn't catch up before. We're calling it Study Abroad in Europe because we traveled a lot when we were there, and Connie and I didn't really experience Madrid, even though that's like where we were based. But you know, it is what it is, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, alright, we'll get this show on the road. Okay, so we just wanted to talk about fundraising for this a little bit. My parents are great, let me start with that. But they wanted me to raise money because they weren't going to pay for it. So I literally went business to business in Americas and sold barbecue tickets. And I ended up selling 1,200 barbecue tickets. So I was able to fund most of my trip. Also did that little board thing. A lot of people do that. And a lot of people donated that way. And I sold that little heap of mess down there. That's like clothes that I sold, and that was only about 25% of it. So I raised almost $2,000 just selling my clothes. So my whole point of this is, if you can't necessarily afford to go, you can. You just have to hustle. So.
Yeah, and before I left, I had to get another job. I already worked 2 currently, like 1 off campus and 1 on campus. And then for the summer, I got a 3rd job just to help me raise money for the trip.
Yeah, I had a job on campus, and then I got another job right before we left, so I was able to save money that way.
Yeah, and GSW offered us a $1,000 scholarship as well. That's kind of like built in, so just keep that in mind that you can get money like from the university. So, we just wanted to briefly talk about like our schedule while we were there. So obviously we were there for 37 days, but we had things to do on each day because it's not necessarily a vacation. You can make it into one, which is what we did. And did classes as well, so y'all can kind of read that. It's AM classes, PM classes on Mondays and Thursdays. Lunch in Europe is actually around 2 o'clock, which I was starving by then because mine is like 11, so I was really hungry. And then we always had Monday meetings. Sometimes we had like festivities. Like we had somebody come in and explain about like bullfighting and stuff like that, which none of us enjoyed. So that's a side story. Anyway, but we had field trips on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we'd wake up, like, go get breakfast, and then go off to like a museum, or we'd take tours or something like that. So.
And the majority of like how we got around was like taking the metro, or we had to walk to a lot of the field trips. So it was just getting a lot of miles in on the feet and public transportation.
Yeah, you'll lose a lot of weight if you're walking like miles and miles.
Well, you also eat a lot, so they kind of like equal out. That happened to me. But everybody else lost weight. So go figure, that's got a story behind. Okay, so fast facts. The trip costs $5,200. But like I said, you get a $1,000 scholarship from GSW, and then you fundraise and pick up some extra shifts, that kind of stuff. So before we even left, we actually had an orientation in Macon that was all day. But that was fine. We got to meet people, also fine as well. So we actually had to finish, 25% of our classes before we even left, which was a complete bummer because Parkinson made us read books. Really? And write reports. So we had to read, like Connie took both of Parkinson's classes, so we had to read 2 books before we even left, and then 2 books while we were there.
And then write papers on them and turn them in before we left.
Right. And my biggest issue with this entire trip was the weight limit for your baggage. Because it was only 50 pounds, so just future reference for when y'all do study abroad, because I know after this all of y'all are going to want to. I bought an extra luggage and just paid the fee. So
Okay, but she was the only one that had this problem. It wasn't the majority of us. It was her.
She got it.
She had over 50 pounds. I had 25 when I left, and then 30 by the time
Yeah, I had
came
like
back.
40 or something. It really isn't that big of a deal. She just likes to pack everything in her closet.
I had 100 pounds, and I'm proud of it. Matched it.
And also, side note, the cost, it is $5,200, but it wasn't all due at one time, so you had plenty of time to like
Yeah. It was
get.
like,
I don't remember what
it was like
how
3
was
different
split up.
increments,
Yeah,
I think.
it was like split up pretty like a few months apart, so you had time to gather some money.
Yeah.
And also, if you do do it, I suggest taking very easy classes, so you don't actually need them for your major, because you're not going to want to do your schoolwork while you're over there. So just choose something really easy so that you know you can pass.
Because a lot of people actually took Spanish there, and we were looking at taking like beginner Spanish, but for some reason that wasn't offered, and it was only like really advanced. And those people like weren't able to go out and do things because like if they decided to not do homework like in increments, if they waited to the last minute, they were kind of like stuck in who's having to do homework, which sucked for them. But we got it done, so we went out. Sorry, we chose better classes. So this is knuckle. And I'm fairly certain it came from a cow, and I was not quite sure what to do with that because that is bone. I'm not really sure. So we just bypassed that and ate lots and lots of potato switch on the side. But anyway, so we talked about lots and lots of walking. That kidding. We took, what was mine? I think it was like 30,000 steps a day. It was insane. We were completely out of shape. I needed an inhaler, but that's just me. Jet lag like we've never experienced, still don't think I've recovered, and we got back August 2nd. The heat was extremely hot, it was 112 degrees, but it was like a dry heat, but dear God, it was hot.
Yeah.
And their air conditioners don't work like Georgia air conditioners. They only work for like 75-degree heat, so all the air conditioners were breaking. So even if you were like walking, you couldn't take like a pit stop in the store because their air conditioner was broken.
And then we were like breaking all of the ACs because we're used to like running it in the 60s or lower or whatever. Well, they run it in the 70s and higher. So when you're trying to take that machine and turn it down as low as it possibly can, like it's working so hard that all of them just.
I broke mine. I did break mine.
A lot of the stuff is just for like when we say us, we mean for.
Yeah, so that's fine.
And then also when we got there, it was we got there at 3:30 in the morning, like United States time, and it was like 9 or 10 a.m. Madrid time, and so we had to stay up that whole next day because you have to try to like adjust to the time as best as you can. And so the first day, like when we got there, we put all our stuff down in the college, and then we had to go for a walking tour to Madrid.
In
Which is fun.
112-degree
Yeah.
weather.
I mean, it was a great experience, but like, I mean, we're all sleep deprived, just fresh off a plane for 8 hours, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get much sleep while you're there at all. It's like 37 days
yeah, that's the whole point.
of sleep deprivation.
We were definitely maximizing our time, but I did take naps, so do not be afraid if you're a nap. There were no hot water in the dorms. We also broke that as well. That one wasn't just me, like literally the hot water didn't work. So we complained about it and they didn't realize. Apparently, like where we stayed, which I'll get to that I think in the next slide, it's kind of a place where just like females stay in Europe because they have like boys and girls dorms like separated, which is like their culture. Anyways, but what we did was their water was already broken and then we complained about it. And then we finally like got somebody in to fix it.
They just
because-
don't take hot showers like we do.
Yeah.
Like you get there and they're like our mild, like kind of lukewarm is they're like hot. They take cold showers there. So we all get there and we're freezing cold taking these showers. And so I think like enough of us had complained, just asked if they could like do something about the water to where they fixed it. And mind you, like I'm not kidding, these showers were literally like this large. Like you couldn't like move your arms. Like, they didn't have like normal size, at least the college. They didn't have like normal size showers. So we're all here like Trying to wash
It's a hot mess. There was definitely a language barrier, and the food was interesting, as you can see by the knuckle stuff. So here are just some pictures of Madrid. So that's Plaza del Sol, with like the guy on the horse. But everywhere that we went, I mean, I'm serious, we walked. So like even if we took a metro, we walked everywhere, which was fine.
And that was one of the things that the program provided for us was they gave us what, like 30 days
days
of a metro pass. So you could use that unlimited for 30 days. And so, I mean, it was very useful. And the bus too. It counted for the bus too.
We figured out the bus literally the last like,
Yeah.
7 days after our passes.
And regardless of what you're doing, you're going to take the
You
metro.
have to take the metro and the bus to somewhere.
Okay, so here's some more pictures. That's our group. So we had a hot amount of people. Like it was a lot. And this is a picture of us going on like the cable cars. That was really fun. That was one of our field trips. It was kind of like, oh, let's go do this. So we got on a
It's
cable
like one
car.
of the things in the air.
Yeah, yeah. So here's some more pictures. That's Jaden's friend group right there. Do you know what that is? Was that a church?
That was
Yeah.
right?
It was a
castle. I think, I don't know. It was like a castle. We went to a lot of churches and they all look the same.
Yeah, literally. They were pretty. They were really
Very pretty, but they eventually start looking awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is our college. This was a view off of my balcony. So it was really, really pretty. That's more of the food. That was like, it kind of looks
That was
like,
a good day.
yeah, that was a good, that was a good day. So it was really good. So,
And they served us fries with every meal because they were trying to like accommodate to Americans. And so all the food like we had never heard of, didn't know what it was, but they were French fries. In the morning, at lunch, in the afternoon, fries, no ranch.
no ranch. Okay, I don't know how many of y'all like ranch, but hardcore fan over here, they don't have ranch at all. I literally thought I was gonna die. I called my mom and was like, "You've got to get me out of here. There's no ranch. What am I supposed to do?" So we looked up and there was like an Aldi. I think that's how you say it. ALD. We don't have any down here, but I'm sure y'all have it in y'all's towns. But they had one, and we walked all the way there, and it was closed for renovation. And they had to have a security guard out there because people were pissed. Like, they were not happy about that Aldi being closed. I was mad because I knew that they had ranch. But it's fine. We survived. I'm alive. Thriving. So, Toledo, we went here. That's how you say it? Toledo? It's fine. Connie skipped this because she's a traitor. So, me and Jane went alone. But all these places, y'all have never seen, y'all think I'm about to say something just beautiful, escalators. Escalators everywhere, literally all over, like on the sides of mountains. You think you're at the top and you're really not. They're like, psych, here's another escalator. And then on the way back, we were having to walk. I mean, whew, it was a lot.
Yeah, that was our first weekend, and it was gorgeous while we were on the bus, and then we had to walk like 4 miles after jet lag. So it's a lot, but it was gorgeous. It was really pretty.
Yeah, and I can't speak for this trip at all because I didn't skip it. I was extremely sick. A couple days after we got to Madrid, I was like, I don't know if it was like from the plane or exposed to new air or whatever, but I literally was like puking for a good 6 hours. So my
We had fun.
was in bed
Yeah, it was fun.
until 5 p.m.
Yeah, yeah. But we were also running on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep on this trip, so. But it was really, really pretty. I don't know if y'all can really see it because like the production or whatever, but all of that is like buildings. So you've got like the grass here and like the buildings back there, and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's really pretty. In this town, there's not a lot of colors. A lot of the buildings are tan. But like Portugal was a lot more colorful, but you'll see that in a bit. So this is bullfighting. This is like the arena. So I don't want to get into like political beliefs, but like bullfighting's like not good. But we still went because they weren't actually like killing the bulls that night. I think they were like getting a pipe for the next day. But they were speaking in Spanish, and this like the cultural shock has like finally hit us by this time. And I literally did not know what to do because I wanted to know what was going on because they're chasing the bulls and the bulls are chasing the people, and I'm like super hyped too. And I don't know what they're saying, but it was fine. But it was really fun. We enjoyed it. About half of our group went, and this was the first time. Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't go.
this was the first time that we took the metro, which was a hot mess because you had people competing for power.
Yeah,
They-
people always have that one person who
I was
thinks that
fine.
they know the metro better than the other person.
I was going with the flow.
follower.
I did not want to be in charge of that because, so it was a lot of, oh, this is a train, we'll hop on. Oh, this isn't, hurry, 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 before the doors shut, hop back off. That was before we realized that they have an app
Yeah.
for the metro. So that would have been great information, which we included at the end when they asked us for our opinion. Okay, so Connie and I went to Lisbon, Portugal. This was kind of like a last minute trip for us. You want to talk about it a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to Spain, and this wasn't one of the trips we had planned. We had planned some other trips. And a few of like the new girls that we met asked us if we wanted to go to Portugal. So we got a small group of girls together to find an Airbnb, and we fly to Portugal. And the other girls that are coming with us, they decided to take the bus because it's not that far.
They wanted to be cheap. I wanted to fly. Let's get there and get out.
Which, by the way, and like flying in between countries in Europe is actually really cheap. Like
It
it's not
is.
like flying from here to Europe.
Like the
Even
initial
flying here to
cost.
California, it's so much cheaper flying.
The initial cost of like getting from here to Europe, that's where like the price is. But when you're flying like in between countries, I think it was like 125 US dollars.
I
To
think
just
it's-
hop
yeah.
on over to Portugal, no big deal. So that's what we did to me personally.
So anyway, so we got there before the other girls got there. It was just me and Jessica, and we had absolutely no idea like where we're at. We're fresh off the plane, and we're outside like waiting for our Uber to come pick us up, and the Uber couldn't find us, so he just left us and like canceled the whole thing. So we're just sitting out there, and then finally like we decided to take a taxi. The taxi takes us to our destination, and we get there, and she's messaging the person that's in charge of the Airbnb, and he's not answering us. Like, and we thought we just got juked out of all of our money. Like, so we're just sitting on the side of the road in Portugal, kind of like.
With our luggage.
Yeah,
Like
it's
outside
and
the
like it's very obvious, like when you're an American, white
Two
Caucasian
blondes.
girl, that you're not
Yeah.
from Portugal. And so we're just kind of standing there for like a good 45 minutes to an hour before like the dude responds to us and lets us into the Airbnb. And
And this, at this point, this is the second language that we've encountered. So we had started to pick up on some of the Spanish, but of course they didn't speak Spanish, they spoke Portuguese, which they kind of have a lot to do with each other, but
yeah,
when you
They kind
speak
of, like,
English,
coincide.
that's the issue.
yeah.
So,
And so there was like a cool little grocery shop that was across from the Airbnb, so we kind of hung out there, and they have like really cheap stuff over there.
yeah.
Like,
They had
it's so
35-cent donuts.
Yeah.
So we were
And
all about
water that was
that.
like the big bottles of water for like 10 cents. I know. Really good.
Yeah.
And then it was also really cool because one of the girls we went on the trip with, that she took the bus, but she showed up later, she spoke Spanish. So she was really helpful to us, like that whole trip when we were in Madrid and in Portugal, because she was kind of able to like be our speaker for us.
Translator.
Translate.
Anywho, we went to the beach.
The first day we just like relaxed.
Yeah.
After the stressful encounter.
Yeah. Well, because like half our group didn't want to get out of bed, and we kind of were like, all right, we're leaving you. So we left and did our own thing, even though we were with the group. But it was not going to waste my time there. This is like a little tour bus that we did. That was definitely interesting.
Yeah,
half
we
of
just
our,
really don't know what we're doing.
it was generally like a hot mess, probably 80% of the time, and it was probably
I
not
mean,
fault.
good stories to tell, but honestly, we were doing this all by ourselves, and neither of us have been outside of the country. So we get on this bus, like thinking it's one of those hop on, hop off buses, which it is, because like you can get off, but you like when you get off, you're on your own. It's not like anyone's getting off with you to like, okay, well you're getting off here. This is what you're touring. Like you get off, and then you have to wait for another tour bus to come. And if that bus is full, then you have to wait for the next one to come. So we just sat the whole time.
Stayed the whole
We just
time.
sat.
We paid to get off and then
Yeah.
got off.
And we had all of our luggage with us too because it was the last day, so we just kind of just sat there. We were just like looking around Portugal. It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. But you can kind of see like Portugal's a little bit more colorful. It's prettier. But is this a castle? Is that what you would call it over there? Yeah, that's nice. But this is like a little castle.
Yeah.
It was really pretty. A lot of the things in Europe, it's like really pretty, but they're like, we're only going to show you a quarter of this. You're welcome. You know, like, okay, well, I paid to see the whole thing, so reveal the curtain. But it was fun. But I mean, you could only see like downstairs and I think half of the second floor. I want to but I gotta do that anyways. So this is Sintra. This is what Parkinson kept saying, like, that we needed to do, because at this point, like, we were in Madrid, like, what do we do? Where do we go? So he told us to go here. This is an initiation wall. Is that right, Parkinson? Okay, well, thank you. It was an initiation wall, and from what I read online, they were kind of like inducted. I don't want to call it a cult because I doubt that's what it is, but that's like what my brain took it as. And there's like stairs all the way around, and it was like super creepy.
You walk to the bottom.
Yeah, and people would like sing at the top. They shouldn't have been singing, they were not good, but beside the point. This is kind of what the streets look like. It's like very, very narrow, a lot of big rocks. We were trying to look all cute or whatever, so we were wearing dresses and didn't know that we were going to be walking 20,000 miles that day. So that was also interesting. Maybe don't try and look cute.
It was kind of cold too.
It was, yeah. This like yellow and purple thing, I don't know if it's like really picking out color. That was really, really pretty.
Yeah.
That was a
One of the
palace.
best places to go,
Yeah,
honestly.
palace. It was a palace.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it a palace. You don't know the difference. The next one is like a castle. So a lot of this stuff is like ancient ruins, like that kind of stuff. So it was really, really interesting. And a lot of the places, okay, you know when you like walk somewhere and you have stairs, for people like me who are accident prone, you've got like the handrails like this. They're like, no, we don't believe in handrails. So you're literally like up in the air and walking, and someone could like come up and like touch you, and like you're going to your death. So that's all I was thinking the whole time. Was like, this is it. Like this is how I go out. But what a wicked story, right? Like it's so flippant. Yeah, she just fell like from a castle, like princess. Anyways, but like that, you can kind of see like how tall the stairwell is. So the stairwell is like this high. So literally like you could fall right over. And the higher you got up, the shorter it became. So they were asking for a problem. And we had a girl on the trip with us who was a real like thrill seeker, but you like wouldn't be able to tell that. And she would just haul it down these stairs. Like we're in a castle and outside, like I'm telling you, you were gonna fall through that. And she would just completely haul it and shove past me. And I just knew. Like we were gonna be missing the rest of our trips because we gotta plan a funeral and we gotta call our family. It was gonna be a whole thing. But we ended up surviving, and it was really, really fun to say. Okay, you talk about this one.
So we went to Segovia on one of our field trips. You guys went, right? Yeah. We're in the same class. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it was one of the
ones.
ones everyone went to.
Okay.
One of the few trips we actually took a bus to because it was really far away.
Yeah, so we drove like an hour, so we were able to like sleep on the bus. And we went to like a monastery right before we went here, but Segovia was the best. It was absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of like Toledo, but prettier and a lot less walking. It was kind of expensive. It wasn't as expensive as Toledo because it wasn't as touristy. You're gonna have a lot of touristy places, so like
Avoid the tourists.
yeah,
So
so
they
like
like the other.
they can
places.
spot you and they will come for you. So like run away if you can.
And a lot of these trips too, though, like we do them as like a class or whatever, but they also give you time to like break away and like go like to shops, go to restaurants. Their shopping in Europe is extremely cheap. Like
Yeah.
I brought back a lot of clothes that cost less than €10, which equates to like what, 10 or 11 American dollars, something like that. Really cheap.
In Segovia, they had the ancient Roman ruins, and I'm a history major, so seeing that, I kind of fanned out. I fanned out a lot. We had like a 30-minute to an hour break, and I spent like that whole entire hour taking pictures in front of the Roman ruins.
I was eating pizza.
Yeah, I had a sandwich and then I ran back.
Yeah, yes. I was all about food. Okay, so Connie and I went to Venice. This is like, we were driving the Hot Mess Express. Like, it was horrible, like, trying to get here. Do you want to talk about it a bit?
Yeah. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. Okay, so we stayed outside of Venice. We didn't stay in Venice, and this is gonna sound extremely stupid on my part. I can't speak for Jessica. I didn't realize Venice was like an island that you can't like just walk to. Like, so you have to take like a train or like a ferry or something to get to Venice. And we took the late flights. Like we would get there at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning because we didn't want to pay like more money for the flights. And so at a certain time, like the train, the ferries, and everything stopped running. So like like very last minute we figured that out and booked a place outside of Venice. So we actually had to walk to the train station from the hotel, and then from the
And they're
hotel.
literally like, oh, it's just like right around the corner.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was like a mile and a half.
Yeah, it was.
So then when we got back, it's like late at night, and we don't have like a taser or anything, and I just knew somebody was gonna grab us. I listened to too much true crime, but I just knew.
Yeah.
There were so many times I literally thought, this is the end, you know?
It was, but we were like staying at like a Holiday Inn or like some American
Yeah.
hotel, so they were
Yeah.
giving us like good advice or whatever. So when we got to the train station, we didn't know how to buy like the train ticket. Like there was no instructions in English or anything, so we sat there probably for like an hour, like trying to figure out how to buy the ticket. When we buy the ticket, what do we do with the ticket? And like, I mean, it took like some like dude that was in construction worker who finally like saw us just kind of standing there looking like idiots, and helped us out and figured that one out. And then
Because you, like in this particular place, you can buy a ticket for the train, but you have to validate the ticket, which no one tells you. So like if you don't validate it, obviously, hate to say it, the ticket isn't valid, you just paid for it, and then you get fined, and then you miss the train, which, can someone please tell me that? Nothing's in English, even though this place is a tourist town, do not get me started. Anyways, it was really pretty.
yeah.
It was,
I mean, it was a really great experience. I mean, Venice is definitely, I mean, obviously everyone has heard about it. It's a very well-known tourist spot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you get to Venice and you kind of walk around and you do everything that there is to do, and then you're kind of like, well, what do we do now? Because honestly, there's not that much to like explore, except there's like a church or a cathedral or something, and then there's like
a lot of the places you had to like book in advance, and we didn't know what times we were going to be getting there, so we didn't want to book anything. And then they had like a lot of, I mean, this place literally is just for tourists, which, as we said, like live and learn. Do not go to touristy places. Like I said, this was really pretty, but it was, the amount of people of New York was in this like little town, and the streets are like
the
this
streets
big.
are very, very small. They're not like normal.
Like you have to turn to the side and let somebody
It's like
through.
one person can walk this way, one person can walk that way, and that's
Yeah.
that one. The whole entire time, like place, it's just like that. So it's for instance. So we went to Venice, and then by like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we were like, okay, well, and we had planned to spend 2 days there. We were on the weekend trip, so like all Friday, we got there Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we'd spend there. But by Saturday afternoon, we were kind of like,
Crap.
We've
done it all.
Yeah, and so we were like, well, we kind of don't want to come back tomorrow because we saw everything we need to see in Venice, and like, it's really awesome and cool, but like, you kind of like, we took a lot of pictures, and we went to the shops, got ice cream, whatever. After that, there wasn't much to do. So then the next day, we decided very last minute to go to Florence instead.
Oh, is it my turn now? Okay. This place, I'm fairly certain that that's called the Doula. Is that right? Ferguson? You're really not helping me out. Anywho, it was,
tell you all to go to begin with, Florence.
yeah. Well, it's fine. It's fine. But this is kind of like what the streets look like. So it wasn't, I don't know, as crossroady as America. So if we had Google Maps on our phone, it's like go straight, and it's like, well, crap. There's a building in my way. Which straight do you go, to the left or to the right? So Google Maps obviously hasn't evolved over there, but I mean it worked. But this girl was like beyond random. She, like I could tell she was struggling to take pictures, so I just walked up. You know, like the universal cycle pictures, like the old-fashioned camera, like this, we all do that now. So I was like, do you want me to take your picture? And then she literally just tagged along with us the entire rest of the way. Like literally, I was like, I would look back and I'm like, crap. Another time, this is the end. She's probably gonna attack me, and she was really, really nice. So that drink I'm pouring, it was like a lemonade, like an icy style of lemonade. It was really good. I do miss that. That's probably what I miss most. Not even the sides, it was the lemonade. That was legit. The donuts were really good. Better than
Orange juice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They have fresh squeezed orange juice, none of that fake crap we have over here. It's so good. Okay. You talk about this one.
So when they went to Italy, I went to Barcelona on one of our weekend trips. So the program offers you 2 trips, and you could go to Barcelona, or you can go to France, or you could go to both. I chose to go to Barcelona, and it was nice. It was about $500 for the trip for the whole entire weekend. They paid for about everything except your food and stuff. It was nice, but it was very touristy. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite place. It was nice to go because I can say that I went to Barcelona. But I typically just like Madrid a lot better. But I finally got to go to the beach, and that was nice. But when they say salt water, they actually mean like salt water, and I didn't know that when I first went. So I just like dunked my head under the water, and then like I opened my eyes like an idiot, and then I was blind for the rest of the time. But it was really fun. We played on the beach. I got buried. I buried my friend. We pretended like we were drowning in the ocean. It was fun. Yeah, I have a lot of pictures. So if you want to see that, follow me. J in the USA. Okay. So yeah, that was Barcelona. Okay.
Did you see any galleries?
What is that?
The architects must have brought up any.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, so we saw a lot of pretty churches, like La Sagrada Familia. That was very pretty.
Really?
Yeah, they've been working on it for centuries, apparently.
Okay, so we went to Amsterdam. This is the one that all three of us went on. So that's another donut. Love them. Waffles. But everywhere you went, I don't know if I doubt we mentioned this. Water is not free, and it's like $4 US. So beer would be like $3 US. Sangria is like $3 US. Or if you're dying of thirst, you have to pay $4 for the water. So that's what we did. We paid a lot of money for water. I mean, seriously, that's probably what I spent the majority of my money on was water. Because you're walking, 1,000 miles.
We were all very severely hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have ice like we do, so the water's not particularly cold. So yeah, you get used to it eventually. Like now, I don't really use ice since I've been
Yeah, I
back,
don't
but
either.
At first, it was a culture shock.
Yeah. But this was like a cool place because we got to talk to a lot of like business owners because obviously I'm a talker, so I would talk to them. And so we got to learn a lot. Kind of like their portions are a lot smaller. Tell them about your pancakes.
So we went to dinner like the first or second night we were in Amsterdam, and it was like it said on the menu it was like 5 American pancakes or something. And then it's like also like $15. So I was like, heck yeah. And so they gave me my food, and it's literally like, I just wish there was a picture.
It was literally this small, and it was like a daggum crate.
Yeah.
Like they were psyching us
And
out.
I was very disappointed.
We were starving about
I
it.
mean, it was delicious, but it just was not good.
And we took, this is the place that we took like a canal tour. That was probably,
Yeah.
that was really fun. Like I'm really glad we did that. Because we could have done one of those gondola rides in Venice that, everybody posts on Instagram. That's $80. Not doing it. This was like 15. So.
Yeah, I mean, the one in Venice was like €80 for like 30 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that. And if you like book it far enough in advance, it's worth the money and it's a lot cheaper. But a lot of the stuff that we were doing, we did it very last minute. When we went to Amsterdam, we were actually planning on going to the Van Gogh Museum and then the Anne Frank house. And we didn't book it 6 months in advance like we were supposed to. So we went and saw the outside of the Anne Frank house, but we did not get inside the building.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of The Fault in Our Stars, and they went there in the movie and the book, so that was the only reason I went to Amsterdam, honestly. So I dragged them along to just about all the spots that were in Amsterdam, and I finally, if you guys know, about the famous bench scene, and I saw it, and I fanned out. I almost started crying. Literally the best day of my life. I made them take so many pictures. There was a dude sitting on the bench. I made him get off of it. I'm like, let me
You think
hold
I'm
this.
dramatic? She
Yeah.
really
Honestly,
put it on that.
Yeah, I just sat down and let them
The
do
best
it.
day of my life. And at first I was like, okay, this is chill. But then I saw that bench, and they had a bunch of quotes from the book and the movie, and
It was a whole
that was
thing.
that was the only reason I went. I went to go see a bench.
We didn't end up doing the other 2 things, but we ended up going to
Reich Museum? Yeah, that was.
Rijksmuseum?
Rijksmuseum,
Yeah, I know.
which I don't know if y'all have ever heard about it, but it's a really famous museum.
Yeah, there was a scene from The Fault in Our Stars in that one too.
And Van Gogh painting, which I really want them to go.
Yeah.
So we did that one afternoon. I don't think we included any photos, but really Amsterdam was just like, also finding out we visited the red light district, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard about. It's a really cool experience, and it's not something you experience in the United States. And I know it's not like, it's probably like frowned upon. But if you do go to Amsterdam, it is really different and it's cool to kind of just walk through. And
We
not
can say we
not
like went there.
participate, but just walk
Right.
through and see it.
Yeah, it's definitely eye-opening, I'll give them that.
But if y'all don't know what it is, look it up.
Yeah. And it's a place like you can't take pictures either. So,
I tried to include a photo and Jessica told me no.
yeah. Well, like my friend had gone like before we had ever gone and she got in trouble.
No, from the museum.
Oh, yeah, no. Because we got our picture, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay, back to Madrid. So that was like all the weekend trips we did, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We had 3 free weekends. So the first weekend we had to do a bunch of the walking trips, 3 free weekends in the middle, and then the last weekend we had stuff we had to do. So anyways, one of the field trips we went to the oldest restaurant in the world, which I have it written in my notes, my phone, how old it is, but it's really old. I think it's what, the 1600s, something like that. It's really old. We didn't get the chance to eat there because it was just a walking tour, but we did get to stand outside.
It was pretty.
Some of the kids didn't.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Because of course, this happens on every study abroad trip, and this might be the best part for y'all. A couple got together on that trip, so.
They're still together.
Yeah, they went
They're
on a
still
date.
together.
They literally had to go at 11 p.m. for dinner because that was the only reservation of it.
But that's also really normal, just so y'all know, dinner starts at like 9:30 or 10.
Yeah,
Like, it's very normal for them to eat late because they go to bed later,
yeah.
and then they wake up. Like, their day is like 2 or 3 hours behind ours. Like, they don't get to work until like 10 or so.
Yeah.
And we get to work like 8.
So when we were going on our field trips, like getting on the metro, it was basically like rush hour for Europe. So it was about us. So this is the Royal Palace. This is another field trip that we went on that was actually really last minute for the professors. But it was really pretty. I don't really know what to say about it. There was another one that there's like 25,000 rooms in it, and they showed us like 4.
Yeah. See, mine was a little bit different. My picture was like the first week that we got there. We did a walking tour like 2 days after we had been there. I was like, this would be great, but then we walked for like 3 hours and did a bajillion miles, and then I took that picture, and then they went at the end of the trip.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't
And
go
their
there.
like royal couple doesn't even live there. But it's too expensive.
They did.
But
They live outside.
yeah, it's too expensive, all right?
Tell the audience like where these girls go to school.
The one in the blue goes to Georgia Southern in Savannah.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, Hannah goes to, okay, the one next to Jessica, she goes to North Georgia, the location in Gainesville. I don't know about her.
I don't know.
I think she goes to North Georgia too.
She's
Yeah,
actually, she's in Belize right now
Hannah
with
is.
her major. Anywho, we're in Americas. This is Connie looking very studious.
Unopposed.
Yeah, I did snap that.
I think that was the museum in the Amsterdam.
The Rice
We went to.
Museum.
That was just an example of kind of the stuff that we were looking at. And just
It was
to show-
interesting.
Yeah, we went to a lot of museums.
Yeah, yeah. And the like biggest regret was I didn't bring a journal. So like I have no clue what I saw it and I have no clue what was said. If y'all do study abroad, when you do study abroad, bring a journal. So this was an even more last minute trip. We were all kind of like, we didn't want to go out of the country, but we wanted to like actually see Spain because Connie and I didn't spend very much time in Madrid at all. So Parkinson told us to go to Granada, and we woke up beyond friendly. I understand why you're in the picture. But it was really fun. I mean, what time did we get up? It was still dark.
6.
5.
It was so early to catch like the earliest train.
To walk.
Took a bullet train.
There was not even a bullet. Like it was not.
That was great.
Anyways, it was like a 2 or 3 hour train ride to Granada.
Yeah, it was.
So it was like just a day trip, right?
Yeah, it was just a day trip. So, and all these like gardens. I mean, this was probably one of the most beautiful places we've been in. Portugal was very colorful. I really liked Portugal, but like this was probably the most beautiful, and it was the most random trip that we went on. So, just a little day trip. So this is Segovia. This is actually a giant aqueduct. Is there anything like in particular you wanted to say about that?
It was gorgeous and huge. Very
It was
gorgeous.
awesome.
It was one of the field trips.
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, yeah.
Expanded the building.
Yeah, yeah, and all those There's not, I mean, this is gonna sound stupid, but there's no like concrete in between that because this was built like beyond a long time ago. All those like stones, how did you describe it?
They use keystones and they fit together, and they use gravity to keep it there.
Yeah,
It was built by the Romans.
right,
Nobody could.
yeah. Good
But they
question.
probably had lead helpings.
Yeah, so when they went to Granada, I went to Salamanca with some of my friends. It was like our last weekend thing. We just wanted to go for like a day. I wanted to go to Granada, but then I wanted to go to Salamanca, so we decided to go to Salamanca. That picture's from Barcelona, and that one was the La Sagrada Familia. That is the actual place that I went to in Barcelona. But Salamanca was probably one of the best places. We had a lot of time. We had a lot of fun. We took a bus. It was like 2 hours. We got there like 8 o'clock at night. We just chilled out, watched a lot of people dance. Yeah, it was fun. Honestly, the whole trip was just a lot of fun. You just grow, you learn, you meet a lot of new people that you still keep in contact with, surprisingly. And yeah.
And you really do get more like independent from it because you don't have a lot like, yes, there's professors there that are helping you, but they're not gonna like sit there and do every single thing with you. Like on the weekends, Friday through Sunday, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're planning stuff by yourself, you're on your own to eat for some of the time, like you have to figure out how to be independent in a different.
And you gotta learn how to socialize more. I'm kind of a social person, but not entirely. So once I found, you know me here, but like, yeah. So once I found my friend group, I kind of just stuck with them, and yeah. Once you find your people, you'll know.
So we took a boat ride. Connie and I were trying to fit like every single thing you could do in Madrid into like 2 days because we
really just did not spend that much time. Like we did, like when we went on the field trips and then the days that we were there, but we really were only in Madrid like Monday through Thursday, and then like we were also taking classes, going on the field trips, like other mandatory stuff. So we weren't like going crazy in Madrid, and then all the weekends we were gone. So.
Yeah, I stayed in Madrid the majority of the time. I only went out the country once, and that was to Amsterdam. All of my other trips were still in Spain, so I went to Barcelona, Salamanca, but most of my time was in Madrid.
But this is one of those. Do you call it a paddle boat?
Rowboat.
Rowboat, and there you have it. That was an arm workout. Probably still sore from that as well because that was intense. But it was in this like little. You can't even call it like what would you call it? A pond. It was a pond. Anyways, but you can kind of see like the people in the background, like how it looks. That was really fun.
And that's and it's really famous. It's called Retiro Park, and it's if you go to Spain, like if you go to Madrid, you gotta go there. It's really famous.
And you know, like when you're in so much pain, you just start laughing. That was me the whole time. I was laughing the whole time because I thought my arm was.
And there's like a huge boat, like I don't know, just like a big boat, and she was paddling us directly into them.
I did not mean to. I did not know what I was doing. I did not have a boat license. I mean, it was just. It was intense.
It was like the last weekend when the trips were gone.
Yeah. Okay. We're almost to the end, I swear. This is the tapas market, so that's kind of like the stuff that they had, and it was just this big market of. Okay, you know how the maze is in America, and it got like little booths in it. This is kind of how it was, but with food. They had giant donuts, and of course I ate two because I needed them. They were so good. It was really packed. But everywhere in Spain they have a lot of like fresh fruit, which that's like I miss that, like ready to go fresh food, like a fruit is like in a cup, like $4.
Yeah.
It was just.
And then they had all different types of food. I mean, it was like breakfast, dessert. I mean, and it was like little portions too.
Fish.
That's like part of their meals, right? Or top. Then they have like what, 4 meals or 5?
Tapas are appetizers, but you eat a bunch of them together to make a big meal.
Yeah. And that's like what they eat throughout the day. Like what their big meal is like lunch, I think.
The big meal is lunch.
And the tapas get them all the way from lunch to dinner, which dinner is at like 10 p.m. or something like that. So I mean, like you go in there, and there's just so many different options, like the fruit kebabs.
Is that right? Does anyone know?
Kebab. The kebabs. He had like all the desserts. I got like this really like guacamole on the bread with cheese or whatever.
No, you had avocado toast.
Yeah, that thing. And then just I mean the other breakfast options. We went there a few times throughout there.
Yeah, yeah. And this is kind of like our last little hoorah. We went to like a greenhouse for
It was
dinner.
like an underground restaurant.
Yeah, we were trying to go to a rooftop bar, and there was like literally 3 that we went to, and I got these, dang, I wish I put it in the picture. I got these new like booties, and I was like, I haven't broken these things in, so I swear to God, if y'all make me walk everywhere, like I'm calling it an Uber, I'm not doing this. And then all the bars were closed, so then they made me walk. It was just, so by the time we got there, we were really, really happy to like sit down and relax. But it was a lot of fun. And those 2 pictures are of Jade.
Yeah, so this picture is the night before we left, and no one wanted to go to sleep, so we stayed up all night. So flight that was like at 6 a.m. Like no one went to sleep. We just stayed outside on the stairs, went to McDonald's, and just like cried because we were leaving. And I also had to finish a paper for Parkinson that was due like in 2 hours, so I finished that paper. And then that one was when we actually got on the plane when we were still in Spain, and yeah, I didn't want to leave.
Also, side note from what she said, fast food is so cheap here, but it's so
It is expensive.
Literally, a McChicken was €5, and I laughed in their face. I'm
And
not doing
I think when we went to Taco Bell one day,
It's like
it cost me over like, it was like 12 or 13 bucks to get 3 tacos.
Okay, but
And
let me really change your life. This is how Taco Bell is over there. Cinnamon twist, okay? Get an ice cream cone from Burger King right down the road. Plop it right in there, okay? Then you get chocolate syrup and caramel syrup. Put it in there. Life changing. Literally like little $3 quick little dessert. But that's how they had it.
Wait,
It was
can I
like-
interject? The students quickly learned that Taco Bell had cheap margaritas.
I never learned that, dude. No, we did not. No, put it in the groupie.
I was like, you go to Spain to go to Taco Bell, and my students were like, cheap margaritas, because you can drink when you're 18 over there, so.
A lot of people don't remember the term. A lot of people.
Did y'all ever go to They have a bar in Madrid it's actually a club, it's 7 stories.
Dude, this is really good information.
Yeah, a lot of people went. I didn't want to go. 3 months.
Well, now we have to go back. I'm really disappointed. Okay. Thanks for listening. Okay. If you got any questions, I know it's dinner time. Questions?
Did you guys
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to
yeah.
Paris?
I do what?
Did you guys go to Paris?
No.
One of our friends actually did that. We met there. She went to Paris, but we kind of already had our trips planned out before we went.
And that's also very touristy. We looked at going to London, but they had, I think they were like repairing Big Ben until like 2026, so what's the point of going, so.
And then we kind of, we're thinking about going to Germany, which I think honestly, if we could switch out a weekend, I would probably take the Italy trip and
Yeah.
replace it for Germany, but we didn't get to there.
If y'all have any other questions, don't forget to scan your little card. What? That's like extra money, but they provide basically 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Every single day you get breakfast, but like Monday through Wednesday, you got dinner as well. And lunch was pretty good.
Yeah, all the meals Monday through Wednesday were covered, and then on the weekends you got breakfast. But since a lot of people are leaving the whole time, like in the weekends,
Like literally, you might have had like 5 or 6 people stay in Madrid for the weekend.
and this is also like they're paying like for where you're staying, like your meals, your metros, his plane tickets, all that's included in the 200.
Yeah.
And we get 2,000.
I think I really only spent out of everything like food, clothes, everything. I might have spent $1,500 spending money. That includes trips.
And you also know about it way in advance too, if you start saving up. And a lot of that stuff was optional. Like you do not have to eat out as much as we did. You don't have to go shopping. You don't have to go to the bars or whatever. It's really just kind of weird. There's so many free things you can do there. It's optional.
But a lot of people spend the majority of their money on alcohol. They did. Came online.
That's pretty cool. That's true.
Yeah. I wanted to remember it. So Yeah, don't forget to scan your little